Hello, Helsinki! How are you all doing this afternoon? Well, that was a very academic enthusiasm I heard there. I'd like to actually say, now as the summer is over, autumn is here again, we all have to think now. It's back to thinking again. No more summer, no more fun. We have to think, we have to be very skarpa, and do it well with our... I've been doing gigs all summer at pride parades, because, well, that's what I do when I'm doing comedy. I often do pride parades because I'm gay, and so apparently I know how to make jokes about us. So I feel like I should come out and be like, hello, Helsinki! Think, Helsinki, think. And I've just started out like that. Actually, it's really interesting to have a night like this and to have a whole evening like this. In a way, what you can think of is these sort of events are meant to bring up what is the reality of our natural world. You know, what is the actual reality of where we live and who we are? And that comes up against what is the reality of human nature. And these things are often a little bit in conflict. For instance, I did a gig in Malmö, which was, where all the Immonen fears to go. I went there. I was brave. I had a gig for Pride in this very, very, very big hotel. It was lovely. It was absolutely gorgeous. And I got really nervous before the gig for some reason. And I discovered that there are two things that I do before a gig if I'm really nervous. And one of those things is I pee a lot. And the second thing is that I steal things. I mean, I know myself, okay? I'm being honest with myself. And what do they have in this hotel? Because because it's Pride, so what do you need? You need free lube and you need free condoms. So I was basically wandering around this hotel, stuffing my pockets with lube and condoms, and then disappearing into a bathroom every 5 minutes. And I thought, this is a problem if people see me doing this, because they might think this is correlation. But it's not. That is coincidence. There is no causation there whatsoever. That is bad science, that I am going into the toilets to do something nefarious with lube and condoms. Good, I'm glad we're all on the same page here. I'm Canadian, by the way, which explains everything. I'm half Finnish, half Scottish, all Canadian, which sort of explains things. My Finnish friends are really nice to me. They said, you know, if you had been born in Finland, we probably would have left you in the snow. The other cool thing that I found out in Sweden when I was there, has anybody ever been to a tvättstuga? Pesutupa? Has it? Oh, yeah. Did you know how incredibly violent they are in Sweden with the tvättstuga? I went down in this hotel, it was a friend's apartment, and I had to take a photograph of this amazing board. The system was incredible. You have a key that has this little lock that goes into a doohickey, and the doohickey goes into a place on a board that tells you when you can do your laundry, exactly what time, etc. And then, when you are doing your laundry, you take the doohickey out of the wall chart and you put it in the lock in the door so nobody can get in and steal your laundry while you're doing it. This massive system, really, really impressive, kind of post-war thing. And I put a picture of this on my Facebook wall, and immediately I started a little war between my Finnish friends and my Swedish friends as to what exactly was going on here, because one of I suggested that, you know, all you can do now is put your angry letters underneath the door to your neighbors. And one of my Finnish friends said, oh, no, Swedish people are so polite. And immediately, I had this huge thing about the Swedish people saying, you have no idea what goes on in the tvättstuga. I once had to pull my PhD card, which I think tells you more about the guy with the PhD than about the Swedes in general. And then a friend of mine also confirmed that this was the case. He had lived in Sweden for a while, and he was saying how it was just his theory that, in fact, the angry letters in the tvättstuga were what allowed the rest of Swedish society to be so polite and nice. Is they got all their violence and anger out in the laundry room, and then they can be fine. And then he said he moved back to Finland, and he had the pesutupa, And it was very disappointing because in Finland, there is no passion, only laundry. Well, I hope you are very welcome to the show. A little bit of housekeeping before we begin. We do have a hashtag #ThinkHelsinkiThink, so please feel free to use it. Please feel free to take photographs, have thoughts, write them down, put them out. If you do take photographs, please just don't use a flash, because that will distract the scientists. You don't want to distract the scientists. We don't know what happens in this experiment. We're not going to start here, right? And then we, of course, will have 2 intermissions, so you will have a chance to stretch your legs and all that kind of stuff. So are you ready for your first speaker of the evening? Well, will you please welcome to the stage, he is an Indian rationalist who came here a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago, because he was debunking mystics back home and got himself in so much hot water that he feared for his life and came here instead. He thought he would pass the time for a couple of weeks and go home. Well, he hasn't been able to go home yet. That's how dangerous it is to be an Indian rationalist. Will you please welcome to the stage Mr. Sanal Edamaruku.
Ladies and gentlemen, India is a country of contradictions. We live in 2 eras at the same time, the medieval times and 21st century. We try to coexist. And how contradictory, how difficult the Indian situation is. I mean, it could be explained with a small story that I know quite some time. You know, India is a very peaceful country at one side. We have almost all religions in the world in India. We have a large population of Hindus, a lot of Muslims, and 2% Christians. There is Buddhists, Jainis, even a small Jew community, and everybody practically coexist happily, though occasionally there are huge communal riots. That's how the contradictions begin. The story that I wanted to tell happened some decades back. I've been hearing this story for a long time. As usual, in any traditional societies, people from 2 different religions, if they want to marry each other, it's very difficult. In any traditional society, that could be very difficult. India also. A couple, Hindu lady and a Christian guy, decided to live together because they have been studying together, they liked each other, they have been in a passionate love, and they married. And the families did not like it. Both the families. And you know what happened? They have been thrown out. But later, of course, the Christian husband's family invites them back. Come back, you are the only son, and you should stay with us. And it was a small trap. When the lady was starting the labor pain, this is a real story. The family insisted, come on, you have to deliver a child to a Christian mother only. Means you have to convert right this moment. The labor begins, and it's a remote place. Maybe the nearest hospital was some 12 miles away. And the labor begins, and they insist that she has to convert right this moment, or else she has to leave the home. The couple were little adamant people. They tried to convince the parents. It did not work. Ultimately, they left the home in the night in darkness. They didn't know where they were going. They walked into the darkness in the night, and it was raining. The monsoon of southern India, it was quite rainy, and they walked and walked, expecting that they would reach the lady's home some 12 or 13 kilometers away. And it's darkness, rain, thunder shower, and the lady collapses under a tree and delivers a child. Under the open, in rain, and the husband trying to help her for the delivery in the thunderlight, and the child is just born, and nobody wanted to help them because they're married from two different religions. And such a child normally would not survive. Nowadays, we hear that such couples are attacked. Group community meetings decide that they are axed to death. That's the other side of India. But this couple got this child delivered and had the first shower probably under the rainwater, and that child simply survived, and that was me. But my parents decided that a child should grow without any kind of indoctrination whatsoever. No Christianity, no Hinduism, not even atheism. Anything that the child wants should be decided when he's an adult, when he could decide only. Well, that's an interesting option they gave me. I've been open to everything. I got mythology, I got stories, I've been going with my father's relatives, sometimes to the church to see it, sometimes with the mother's relatives to the temple to see what is happening there. And when I was taken to the school, two interesting things happened. Number one, my father insisted that I didn't have a religion. The religion and caste column should be filled as no religion and no caste. It was not allowed. So he had to fight a legal battle, and I became the first child in Indian history without caste or religion not marked in the school records. There it did not end. When I went to the class, the first kind of stories come. First teacher came and told the story of Cinderella, the fairy tale, which I was fascinated with. Though officially religion is not allowed to be taught in Indian schools, the second teacher, a nun, comes and speaks about Jesus Christ. And I had a very interesting parallel in my mind. I always thought that Jesus Christ must be the younger brother of Cinderella. So it went on like that. But I did not become a fighter against superstition or public educator against superstition till I became 15 years. That was the time when I first realized the importance of this kind of a struggle, or how big influence the Indian spiritual bazaar is. I got the first glimpse of it when I was 15 years old. One of my neighbors, a young lady, was the sprint queen of my state, fast runner. She got a kind of blood cancer, which could be treated with the blood transfusion. The family first wanted to go for medical care, but the religious organization behind them insisted that they should not do it. Of course, they have been convinced also. So they refused all medical treatment, and it has been big news in our newspapers. And after some days, of course, without any medical care, the girl dies. Everybody was virtually very, very sad. So I decided I want to do something against these kind of influences. Why these kind of people are being influenced by this situation? I went to the Rationalist Association's office and asked for membership. I was not given membership because I was just 14 or 15 years old. I should be again become an adult for that. So I became the initiator of a small group, namely the Rationalist Student Movement. The time is very important. India was emerging as a new power at the time. From a time that India was waiting for ships with wheat to come to feed our people, the Green Revolution has happened. Science and technology came in real use, and the agriculture production has grown up 200 times. That was the Green Revolution in India. Everything looked very prosperous, very, very ambitious. At the same time, we have another group of people emerging in India. One person, for example, who came up those times was known as Satya Sai Baba, the person behind this. He was a person who had enormous clout in India. What kind of clout, you would ask? At least 3 prime ministers of India were his disciples. 2 presidents of India. At one time, we had the President of India, Prime Minister of India, the Chief Justice of Indian Supreme Court, and top businessmen were all his devotees. And what he would do? He would sometimes do a simple trick. He would move his hand like this, and some ash will come out of the hand. And the holy ash is very important for Hindu belief system. Most of the Hindus, during their prayer, they put the holy ash over the forehead, and they would put all around the body, and that's what is given when you go to a temple. As the offering, you also get the holy ash. So he just produces it with his hand movement. And of course, there are books claiming that he created this universe. And there are millions of followers he had. And with sleight of hand, small magic, he started doing building up huge empire practically. When he died, some years back he died. But there was a problem with his death also. He announced that he would die at the age of 96 because he has divine knowledge about it. But at the age of 80, he has fallen ill and just died. When he died, there was a huge fight going on for the wealth that he amassed, because he had almost a whole township owned by him. He had an aerodrome of his own, a railway station of his own, a post office, a super specialty hospital, universities, what you said, everything he had. And God had a trust, as we call it. The trust was only one trustee, that's God himself. The God himself signed his checks till he became practically incapacitated. When he could sign, he could not sign. He adopted 2 more people in the trust. But when he died, the first thing that the people found was, in his private room, there were golden bars under his bed. So many golden bars, some 25 tons of gold was kept under his bed. I don't know what he was doing with all these things. And all the almirahs were full of currency notes. And the roof was made of silver. And he was just living in between a lot of currency notes and gold and all these kind of things. But that's a small part of what he had. He had an amazing wealth. Like his annual budget was more than the annual budget of some of the Indian states. That kind of clout. All he has done, just with one small trick, mainly, that he was producing holy ash. What he would do, he would move his hand like this with an empty hand, and just like this, the holy ash would come. So it kept on coming and coming and coming. And, well, when there is a crowd, he could simply give some holy ash to some people, and people were so happy with that. So this small trick, when it was shown by Sai Baba everywhere, we have been trying to understand how he could do it. Because nobody can produce anything from thin air. So there has been a lot of explanations. You know, the former scientific advisor of government of India, Bhagavantam, was his private secretary after retirement. And we have a lot of very famous people as his disciples. And there have been explanations that he was teleporting things from distant places. He could produce watches. He normally would give holy ash to the general crowd, but if you have politicians coming or rich kindly, he would give golden chains or some watches produced, but most of them could be Swiss-made watches, not Sai Baba-made watches. So they said that it was teleported from Zurich. Nobody would know it, but I know for sure how he made the holy ashes. Because we went to his place. That's how the struggle began. When we started the student movement, we sent our representatives to Puttaparthi, his village, or his small township. We collected the holy ash, sent it for chemical analysis, and found that it had starch inside, and which means he has been making small balls out of holy ash like this, and kept in his pocket of his long coat, and whenever he wanted, he just crushed it, and the holy ash came. That was all he did, and he got all the wealth out of that. And then came other people. We have seen that this is not only Sai Baba. There were a lot of other people. For example, at this moment in India, we have at least a dozen top holy men doing wonderful business. One of them is Sri Ravi Shankar. And he's seen on national stages, in big political stages and all. And you know what he does? The main business is selling some products. One of the products is known as the Shakti drop. Shakti means power. It gives an idea that if you use these little drops, you get a lot of strength. And how he does it? It's very simple. He goes to the Indian Institute of Technology at several places and gives a demonstration how his little oil would work and suggesting what it could be useful. And it's available for 27 euros online in Europe also. If somebody would come over here, I will show how it works. Can I, yeah. Okay. Can somebody come over here? Yeah. If you could come there. Yeah. Can you put your hand like this straight? First, he will ask, maybe somebody else also could come, because if I, yeah. Hold it straight. Don't allow it to go down. Hold it very, very powerful. Can you just put it down? Stroke? No, you should not. You have to resist. Yeah, push it down. It doesn't go, isn't it?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Then what he does is very simple. Leave it, yeah. Leave it. Then he would take his little oil, and I don't put any oil. I just move it down. And now try to resist. It works the other way around. Look. The oil, and it doesn't work. But what he does is the other way around. First he shows it goes down. Then he put the oil down, then it doesn't go. It simply doesn't go. Try it. It doesn't go.
Now?
Yeah.
It's
No.
not gonna go.
But it's quite resistance needed.
Yeah.
Straight. It doesn't go.
So when he turns, it does.
Yeah, the trick is very simple. You can see online Indian Institute of Technology and Sri Ravi Shankar's speeches in several technical institutes, and he's showing this small thing, that if you turn the hand like this, it doesn't go down, and if it's turned this way, it goes down. This small thing he shows everywhere, claiming that his Shakti drop is doing the magic. And he was seen with the Prime Minister of India on the International Yoga Day on the dais. And that's what the superstition industry is working in India. One more thing I would like to. Can I have one person, another person probably coming over here? I would need one more chair, yeah. The suggestion, these people, for example, this is not suggestion, but these are simply small techniques that these people are trying to use to befool us. But they are very powerful. Huge empires they build up on these kind of things. Can somebody come over? Yeah, please. Yeah. You want to do it?
What do I do?
Yeah, just lie down here.
Okay.
Put your head here. Yeah. Yeah. Stable, yeah. Yeah. Are you afraid?
No, it's good.
If I remove the center one?
Sorry?
If I remove the center one,
Yeah, then it's not good.
can you just hold it for a second? But do you have trust in me? But it works. You're not going to fall down.
Okay.
You are not going to fall down. I'm going to remove it. So she doesn't go fall down. It's just one command that she doesn't fall down. That's the power of words, because you suggest something, and if somebody trusts it works. And when you try it, sometimes somebody will fall down. Yeah, that's it.
Can I go now?
You want to try it once again?
I believe you.
You can also try once again. Yeah.
Make him fall.
You know, the basic principle is very simple. Most of these people give an impression that they have a lot of power. You have natural, inherent strength in you, and it works when you have a good suggestion. And you're not going to fall down. Come, you're not falling down. You don't. Yeah, that's it.
I didn't trust.
I wanted to show this small thing because, you know, the whole superstition industry or the spiritual industry is thriving on very small things. The moment you think that there is a lot of spiritual power in a person, you start believing him. I mean, I have said that, I don't believe in any of these kind of things, but still, one suggestion has that kind of power that you can, hold the body straight like that. So that's the way our mind works. Suggestions have enormous influence. And these people, simply by telling that they are God, they have spiritual powers, the common folk who are totally gullible in Indian situation simply fall into that. The spiritual empire is so big in India. It's so big. It's not the temples or the churches that earn money now. In fact, the traditional religion in India is going down. For example, the main Hindu god Vishnu, of course, Vishnu is worshipped by a lot of people, but you have more devotees for the god men or the spiritual gurus now. They are more powerful now. Because, when you talk to God, it's like talking to somebody over a telephone call and there is no answer from the other side. You keep on talking and talking and talking. There is nothing coming back. But the spiritual guru responds to you. He says his wisdom, whatever is the wisdom, he would say it. And you believe it. And he advises you. But there is a lot of fear about these kind of people. The fear is so hard that many people think that the people don't dare to speak against them. Because they think that they can curse you, they can destroy you, they can damage you. And because of this fear, the kind of people who are known as tantrics means people who use special mantras for some rituals that could influence your body, your life, your mind, your whole life. I had recently, not very recently, in 2008, an encounter with a very famous tantric in India. I thought, that's an opportunity. I got, by chance, to expose the so-called power of these people. One guru, Pandit Surendra Sharma was his name. He was very, very popular on Indian televisions. And we have been on a television panel discussion. And he claimed that he could kill anybody by chanting some magical words, some mantras. I thought it's an impossible situation because it's a live television program with millions of people watching it. It struck me for a moment and I said, come on, if you can kill a person with magic, why don't you just kill me right now here? He said, come on, I cannot kill you. I said, if you can kill anybody, I accept your challenge. Do kill me right this moment. So I provoked him to that extent that he started chanting mantras to kill me on a live television program. Okay, it was interesting. I mean, you can see it on the YouTube. Millions of people have seen it. The Great Tantra Challenge, and my name, you can see it live. It's 3 parts. The first part, I am challenging him and provoking him to do this feat. Second part, he's actually doing it. So he comes and shakes my forehead. He does a lot of magic and mumbo jumbo and all these kind of things. And I was just laughing. I thought that there is no chance to speak much, but to use my body language to mock at him. So I tried to laugh. I tried to make little jokes and all these kind of things. He got very furious. He said, "Bring a knife." Okay, I did not lose my cool. I said, "But that's a conventional way of killing you are speaking now." So the knife was brought in. Then he played the knife in front of my eyes and all these kind of things. And he wanted to scare me. He wanted me to fall down. I didn't do it. After half an hour, it was gone, and it kept on extending. And at the end of it, he said, "You must be protected by some other gods." Okay, I said, "I am an atheist. I don't believe in these kind of things." Then he said, "Okay, then there is an ultimate ritual. Come to the burial ground in the night, and you will be in front of all this wood and all, and then we will be chanting mantras for 9 minutes only. First 3 minutes, you will be crazy, unreversible. Then you will go unconscious, not reversible. Then you will die the worst, painful death. Are you ready?" I said, "I'm ready." Okay. Then it was done. Quite interesting. It is a 1-hour program, and that special program, which the channel announced repeatedly because they thought it's a big way to get huge viewership, and perhaps it got the highest ever viewership on Indian television's history. And he was chanting mantras, not only he, but so many other people also sitting and chanting mantras in front of me, throwing water and mustard, and writing my name on a paper and burning it and stabbing on my little statue, everything he did. At the end of it, he was sweating and I was laughing. So the only way that I understood to challenge these people, the Indian spiritual bazaar, is just to laugh at them, mock at them, make fun of them. If you become too serious, people are so afraid. So what I do is, I make light jokes about them. And sometimes that's very, very provocative. And it works very well. And I got, how many mails I got, or how many people telephoned me after that. When I was going out in the streets, people were surrounding me all the time after this program, because people have been so fascinated, because they knew that some of their family members have been influenced by some holy men like this, and they have been living in fear and, complete terror. And now they've got a feeling that one could fight against these people and one could challenge these people, and that worked. But that doesn't always work, because most of these people are not now using television programs to debate us. For example, when I try to explain many miracles further, I've done it in a very big way. For example, in 1995, I decided to go into the villages of India. So I've gathered some 20 other youngsters at that time along with me. We traveled in a small van, went into 1,000 villages of India in 100 districts. Took 18 months. British television has made a documentary on that thing. They call it the Guru Busters. And so I've been talking directly to people. There was no issue, there was no problem, because we talked with people friendly, and there was no violence, nothing. We have been very friendly. People responded to us very friendly. But the climate in India has changed dramatically now. 3 years back, when I explained a miracle in a Mumbai church, well, they have been announcing this as it's a huge industry. Miracle is a huge business. And, of course, some months back, they had another miracle coming up. Mother Teresa's beatification was decided upon another miracle, because one lady, namely Monica Besra, claimed that her tumor has gone because she put a picture of Mother Teresa on the stomach. I said, if she is made a saint because of her work, well, that's a different thing, but not because of a miracle, because I found later from the hospital that she had surgically removed the tumor before the claim was made. And I made it public. And when I explained the Mumbai miracle, that the water dropping from Jesus' statue was not coming from his tears, I don't know why he should cry, it was coming from a clogged water loggage, from the drainage. And that's what they have been giving to people as holy water. And when I explained in a television program, it was so violent a situation. The bishop himself was on the television program, and he said goons to attack me after that. I had to escape from a different route from the television studio. Then they filed something like 27 cases against me for blasphemy. That I told that it was drainage water. It did not end there. I was traveling at that time in Europe, and I did not go back. Things were not very safe for me. And now I hear, 1 year back, one of my colleagues who was leading another struggle in Mumbai asked me, why don't you come back? We will protect you. 4 days later, his name was Dr. Narendra Dabolkar. 4 days later, he was shot dead point blank during a morning walk. Some months later, another activist, an 81-year-old author, was again during a morning walk, he was shot dead. And 5 days back, on 30th of August, a very famous writer, vice chancellor of a university in Karnataka, who got national award for literature, was shot dead at home in the morning. So the superstition industry, the spiritual industry is so large, so big, they are on the run, they are on their nerves. So they try to stop the critics, stop the people who joke at them or mock at them or make people aware that there is nothing to be afraid of these people. Come on, you can break these shackles. And now they want to silence them with guns. That's what's happening in India. Reason, common sense is in great danger in India. We have to do something to get back the old India that stands for scientific temper and reform. Thank you.